Hello, so nice to be here with you. I've been outside for a walk, looking for potential spots to deliver today's reading, but it's feeling a little bit icy. The wind is colder than comfortable, so I brought the reading back indoors today and want to know how you are feeling and encourage you, if you haven't listened to yesterday's reading, to please do that. There's an important message in there for every one of you. Today is Thursday, the 9th of July, and we are going at a slow, steady pace towards recognition of the self. We are slowly peeling away the layers, and even I am involved in this process with you, doing my own introspection and my own healing. After 13 years of devoting myself to this calling to serve, but to serve without ego and allowing that renunciation to alter the essential makeup of my identity. It's obviously given me a lot of technical tools to navigate my emotions, my feelings, and what's going on in my mind. And whatever's going on in my mind is not at all associated with my decision making, because I have applied these tools daily over the last 13 years. I've managed to separate parts of myself through this observation and detachment process so that I can see the bigger picture. And sometimes when things are feeling a little bit too pressured in my environment, when I ask for them, I do get signs and signals from the universe. I went for a walk earlier, as I said, with the dog, and there was a beautiful harrier hawk that flew onto a tree just in front of me, and I managed to stop just under that and make eye contact with it before it swooped down towards me and carried on up the road. And I've had some other kite and eagle sightings during my times in India, Kashmir, and it's always a reminder about that need to see everything with a bird's eye view. And when we consider how expansive the mind is, when we consider how vast our internal universe is, we can really identify with that sky view. What does that feel like? You know, if you go into those moments of contemplation and you allow yourself to use your imagination and visualize the flight, visualize the views and the landscapes, and how that feeling of freedom unlocks a part of the soul, parts of us that lie dormant, you know, because everything's energy, it's all interconnected. And I think the ancient peoples of different countries and civilizations that used their intuition more and obviously didn't have this kind of technology that just siphons you, didn't have the stresses of our modern day or Western society. They relied on telepathy, they relied on constellations, and they had so many different ways of communicating. It's primal for us to go that deep. It's primal for us to know parts of the self, and that energy matters, literally. So what can you do with all this energy? I think we've just been numbed not to tap into it, you know. And as I have released these layers of tension and projections and mirrors in my life, it really just comes down to me being, and by being, really being able to use that energy. So the next big thing is where to direct it, where to focus. Sometimes we hear that if we want something too much, we're going to repel it. So what does that mean for us? It's a bit confusing, isn't it? It's a little bit contradictory. There's so much advice out there, spiritual or not, motivating, all these different techniques. What's it, The Secret? I remember when that book and the CDs came out. Was it back in the 80s or the 90s? And everybody was trying to play with the law of attraction. The reality is we have to vibrate in the frequency of what that is. And there are so many pathways to that outcome. And we have to make space. We have to make space for all of these things, including partners. And if we're not seeking a partner and we are single, well, that is another discussion entirely that needs to be had between the roles of feminine and masculine in today's society, and how what am I trying to say? It's becoming extremely necessary for us to look at the spiritual laws and how technology and matrix has and continues to devaluate and distort relationships between men and women. And I feel in my femininity, in this state of complete disassociation from my own identity, I am really hoping and praying for more authenticity and vulnerability between the sexes. Yeah, that's where I stand. I want us to talk about these things. What aren't we seeing? Anyway, let's go for today's reading. To those men who worship me alone, thinking of no other, or those ever united, I secure that which is not already possessed and preserve what they already possess. This is the royal secret, the royal road to the realization of the absolute. We should disengage ourselves from the self-manufactured snare of illusion. Thinking of God for a while and then of the objects of the world for the rest of the time betrays insincerity and a doubt. Okay. I am being just gently reprimanded. The test of our sincerity here is the natural attitude of our mind to be ever conscious of God. This habit must be cultivated, realizing that it is on account of His grace that we are able to see, speak, hear, think, and so on. Absolutely. By merely becoming aware of this tremendous truth, we are freed from our own motivations and we live free, doing whatever has to be done. But what does have to be done? Because we are dissonanced into two separate fields of focus all the time. What the higher self wants and what we have to do according to, man-made. Man-made and God. We are able to intensely active and at the same time constantly aware of God's. We are able to be intensely active and at the same time constantly aware of God's existence. Krishna uses a clever psychological approach here. Think of me always and I shall protect you. If God only protects those who constantly think of him, who protects the others? God alone. To him all are equal, and he is not partial towards any, except inasmuch as they open themselves to him and therefore receive his grace in greater abundance. If you have the courage and the intelligence to investigate life, you find that all you needed at a certain moment had already been created years ago. Well, I do wish that was the same for me. I've been trying so hard to build the foundations of my nonprofit organization, and it's taken up to 3 years and still ongoing to complete the documentation needed to get the kinds of collaborations and sponsorships that I've needed to move forward here in the Western Cape. And it's very, very discouraging. And yes, today's reading comes with a lot of emotion, and I'm so sorry, maybe my focus isn't all here because it's been a slog, and yeah, I'm human too, and yeah. The wheat for the bread that you had this morning grew specifically for you 3 years ago. Wow. The wheat for the bread that you had this morning grew specifically for you 3 years ago. Yeah. And I've been talking about foundations. I've been talking about how important that authenticity is for the creation of a foundation, a sustainable foundation. When the devotee meditates upon the assurance contained in this verse, the hypnotic suggestion of the Lord takes effect upon him, and he lets himself go entirely. It dawns upon him like a flash of lightning that God and God alone is the protector of all. And thenceforth he abandons all selfish activity and dedicates himself to the service of mankind in the spirit of the Gita, remembering God constantly. Yeah, that's what we're doing here. We're dedicating ourselves. We're providing this space to serve Spirit. And here it begins, right? And I'm perhaps also going on yesterday's reading now, knowing that I've written about the need to cry to heal the heart space. So I shall continue to express myself and cry if need be. It does not mean that such a devotee will be indifferent to the business of the world. On the contrary, he will make himself an egoless, selfless, and dynamic instrument in the hands of the Lord for his will to be done. The actual technique of attaining this state of being will be explained as we go on. Yeah. That is it. It all just gets explained to us as we go on. We're all having such completely different experiences. And we're having a human experience, and we are a light being, we are a spirit having a human experience. And even I have to clothe myself and cover my body, even though I would love to be in a warmer climate and just wearing something very simple and living a simple life. I think we all deserve some simplicity, and things are just getting taken out of hand. I mean, I was just watching somebody retaliating about the investments that these big tech companies are making on the supply of communications to Israel. during this war, and obviously how techie Palestinian corporates and individuals, organizations are standing up now at whatever conference they were at, and just defaming the work of these big techs. And yeah, it's time to speak up. It's time to rally in whatever sense, you know, if you feel like you've been wronged in any way. And hopefully just by speaking it out, there will be some retribution or consequence. There are people out there fighting the big fight. There are people out there doing what I wish I could be doing, which to some degree makes me feel, okay, that's a timeline and a part of the expansiveness of how I see myself, which again means just a little bit of that snipping away of that ego identity to reduce me back to this form, this being, to be present. And I think it's extremely important for me to maintain this presence so that I can tune into spirit and deliver these messages. I think we are all on this journey together right now. It's really important that we continue to build conscious communities, continue to invite and welcome each other into these sacred spaces, and thank God for His mercy and grace, for our presence, for the gift of life, and have gratitude for this body. In love. Okay, so again, thank you so much for being here with me today. I really appreciate you. Please share these readings with anyone that you think might resonate with it and get some upliftment, empowerment, or inspiration. Give me a thumbs up. This will help the channel to grow and hopefully find more people that need this divine light, this knowledge and truth from the Song of God. Okay. Have a blessed day. The divine in me honors the divine in you. Namaste. Amen. And God bless you.